Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to follow up a little bit from the video I did towards the start of the week, it might have even been the start of the week, about all of the Imperial Guard stuff disappearing. Not all of it, that's an exaggeration, the regiment stuff for the most part, so Vostroyans, Steel Legion, Mordian Guard, it all just went, that was it. It was out of stock, unavailable, sold out, looking like it was never to be seen again, and I tried to remain optimistic and hopeful about this. I looked at it and I went, okay, well this clearly sucks, but perhaps it's not the end for this stuff. Perhaps it will come back. Perhaps we'll see it in plastic. Perhaps they're updating the molds. Maybe it's not quite as catastrophic as it looks. I may have been too optimistic, too hopeful, because there has been clarification in a way to this stuff. So someone emailed Games Workshop. I don't know why I didn't email them myself, actually. I should really just email them and ask them this shit, but instead I always see it, go, oh my god, and then immediately get distracted, usually looking at something else Games Workshop related. It kind of goes from, oh man, I should find out what's going on there, and then I see something shiny and go, ooh, that looks nice. It's quite bad, really. I should stop doing that. But someone emailed them, and they sent me their response, which was really kind of them. Signed up to Twitter especially for it, which, I mean, good job, and good luck on Twitter, Christ. And they emailed, and they said, Dear Sir/Madam, because doing it properly, got to be polite. I was looking on the online store last night, looking to start a Steel Legion force to find the troops, etc. no longer available. I trust you have heard this question a lot today, but I'm wondering if these models are gone for good, or simply being prepared to be made of resin. I still wish to make a Steel Legion force. Would it be worth my time to hold fire for a re-release, possibly Emperor willing, a plastic kit? Many thanks. And the response from Games Workshop was, as always, nicely in character, which I have to admit I do like about their email communications, and they said, Greetings, Private. Your communication has reached us here at Administratum HQ as part of our regular reviews to ensure all followers of the Emperor are armed with the most up-to-date weaponry in the fight against the Xenos incursions. We are required to retire some of our venerable units from the ranks to make space for all the new recruits we have in the pipeline. Their contribution to the cause is not and will never be forgotten though, and it is possible that after this final deployment they may return to the hallowed halls of Made to Order, although this is not a confirmed order. We appreciate your communique on the matter, but assure you that the Emperor rewards the faithful. Carry on, soldier. So, firstly, good job taking the initiative and actually emailing them, and secondly, I do like that response, largely because it is mostly, well, 40k-ish. There's also a couple of interesting things in there. Now, it would be very easy to look at this and just go wild with speculation. Just be like, well, there are two lines in here which vaguely suggest that we might get something new, those two lines being making space for all the new recruits they have in the pipeline, and also the Emperor rewards the faithful. It would be very easy to look at those two things and go, oh, I see, well, clearly what that means is they're all getting updated kits. They're all going to be resculpted, they're going to be available in plastic sometime in the next year. There's nothing to worry about, they're all coming back. That'd be daft. Let's not do that. Instead, it does certainly seem as though most of it is going to be gone for good. Made for order is all very well, or made to order is all very well, but there's obviously no timescale or even confirmation that is going to happen at all. The only thing that I am now taking a little bit of optimism towards, sort of retaining some hope for, is above all else the Steel Legion. I would be surprised, honestly, if we did see plastic kits for the others. Much though I hate to say this, I would argue that Steel Legion are far more popular than the other kits. I see far more in the way of people working on Steel Legion armies than I do on Vostroyan armies or Mordian armies or just any of, or Talon armies or any of the others. A lot of that is obviously going to be down to the kind of quantity and quality of those kits and the age of them. Steel Legion are still old, but frankly I think Steel Legion have a bit of an edge in a way. They have a similarity Not obviously they're not identical. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but they have a similarity in visual style in certain ways to the Deathcore stuff, which I think probably helps quite a bit with the popularity of them. And of course, they are one of the more well-known regiments for Imperial Guard. I mean, all of the stuff with Armageddon it's a big focal point for a lot of events, and is also one of those things that has captured and held the imagination of 40k players for a very long time. The Steel Legion kind of have a nice benefit of having a design that has aged well. Sculpts that, whilst they may not be the freshest anymore, handle that design pretty well. They don't look awful. You know, they look okay for how old they are. They look okay. They're also involved in a very popular storyline. I think out of all of them, I would not be surprised if we saw Steel Legion again. I wouldn't expect it, so to speak, having actually, had follow-up from Games Workshop confirming that this stuff is essentially gone for now. I wouldn't expect to see Steel Legion again. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, we know orcs are coming, and clearly this means that there will be some sort of massive war for Armageddon again, and we will see a full release of Steel Legion along with yada yada yada. It's just there's nothing to really suggest that's going to happen. So to sit there and spew that off would be somewhere between wish listy and just irresponsible. But of all of them, to be honest, Steel Legion are the ones that I am retaining the most hope for in terms of coming back. They seem the most likely to come back. They do have the edge in popularity. I would hope to see the others return in some capacity, whether it is made to order or whether they are updated eventually. It would be nice to see that, but realistically, to me, as it stands now, we have the Cadian stuff, and that is going to be all we have for a while. Eventually, maybe, we might see Steel Legion return. If we did, I would expect them to return in plastic. I wouldn't expect them to come back as they are now. There is, despite not wanting to sit here and spout off about how clearly they're going to return to fight the orcs and Armageddon, etc., etc., if they did come back, that would be obviously the way to do it, and I would have thought that the best way to really push the hell out of that particular narrative, out of that sort of arc, well, it would be to actually release them as new kits. The thing is, would the number of people buying them actually cover the cost of developing those kits? I don't know. On the other hand, how much would you realistically need to develop is the other thing, I suppose. A bit of updating probably wouldn't take much. They still look okay. And if you're talking just infantry squads, heavy weapons squads, a command squad, do you really need to do that much work? To me, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that they would get that update, because that update wouldn't take all that much. I feel as though the other regiments need more updating than the Steel Legion do. I think they've just aged better overall. The Mordians, the Vostroyans, the Talon, they're okay, but I think they're in need of updating in a significant way, whereas Steel Legion aren't really in that bad a spot in terms of the models they had available. Don't anymore. So yeah, it's a shame. It's honestly a shame. I was really hoping that this would be a case of they disappear for a bit and then they come back, redone, at the very least with kind of updated molds and stuff. By the look of it, that's not going to happen. Made to order is okay if they ever came to made to order, but it obviously means that if you are out to make one of these armies, if you are out to construct your own army of Vostroyans, for instance, you're not going to be able to do that through made to order, I don't think, anyway. Or at least if you did, you'd have to wait for them to appear, bulk up, and then they would presumably fade away again. There are plenty of other options. I think that's the one thing to maybe take a little bit of solace in. It's not great. It's not ideal. This stuff going for the foreseeable future is kind of crappy. I think Imperial Guard deserve that variation a lot. I don't think that is an army that should just have one sort of standard of infantry. It should be a lot more varied than that. But there are plenty of places where you can buy alternatives to this stuff. So, I mean, I've done a video already about, you know, good conversion parts for Imperial Guard. You've got places like Victorian Miniatures, you've got Anvil Industries. Between the two of them, you could probably get like 99% of the way towards what you want in terms of a kit bashed force. Downside to that, of course, is if you use too much in the way of third-party components, some Games Workshop stores will have an issue with it, which is not ideal. Yeah, it's not great, I'll be honest. It's a little disappointing, but maybe we might still see Steel Legion. They might make a comeback, they might make a return, we might see them in plastic. I don't think that is too much of a stretch. I don't think it's like beyond the realm of possibility. Of all of them, that would be the one that I would expect to come back. As for the others, I think probably they might well be gone for now. I would love to be wrong, by the way. I'm not saying this is a kind of, oh yeah, well, this is definitely the case. They're all dead, Jim. I'd much prefer to be completely off mark with that. But that seems to be the most likely thing to me now. So, yeah, just a little update on all of that stuff. Yeah, kind of sucky. Genuinely a little bit sad. You know, some of that Imperial Guard stuff, even if it wasn't that popular, I feel like it gave the army a lot of personality overall, just by being there, if that makes sense. You know, it had that extra layer of representing different forces within that sort of large umbrella force. But maybe we'll see them again a little bit, even if it's only one of them. I think I'd take only one of them at this stage. It'd be better than nothing. And there's so many alternatives out there. Even just a basic head swap can do wonders. And as I say, places like Victorian Miniatures, Anvil Industries, you can make a pretty decent Imperial Guard force out of parts from them. Even if you're just sticking stuff on top of Acadian bodies, I think you could probably get close if you really wanted to. So yeah, that is a update to the Imperial Guard regiment situation. I'm guessing you're just going to be sad like I am. But if for some reason you are absolutely loving the fact they're all gone, let me know in the comment. There's going to be like one person, and it's going to be one person who just hates everything they do anyway. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click Patreon, subscribe, other video. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.